Welcome back to another episode.
Are you a creator first and a business owner second, or are you a business owner first and a creator
Have all of the ideas and none of the system.
I think the biggest limiting belief is thinking that you have to do everything.
As a career coach, my job is to try and help you understand what reality is.
What's up? Welcome, guys. Adam, Coach Reno, Perry. How are you guys doing?
What's up, guys?
Well,
I don't think I made the intro video, Daniel.
That's messed up.
We're going to have to talk about that.
You are there. Actually, I saw it.
We
Yes,
can
you're
fix
there.
that in Florida in a couple weeks.
I don't remember seeing it, but
It's
Well,
actually
fix it.
there because, like, right now LinkedIn is lagging. So it's actually, I just saw you. There's
you're like, wait,
it's
hold
there.
on, let me check. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
No, it is. The fact that that's the first thing you said, I understand that it's a big deal to you. But if you guys, I had originally set time for us to record the podcast on Tuesday at Stan Miller's studio. But I also know that we are, with our time schedules, I kind of canceled that so that we just did the podcast on virtually, how we're doing it now. So unless you guys want to come on Tuesday, but yeah, I think it's difficult. So
Can't
you
swing
guys-
it at this point.
Yeah.
Be too
Okay.
hard. Yeah.
Okay. I have a question for you, Mr. Reno. So before we go into the banter, just I want to let the audience know what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about some key news articles. We're not going to talk about layoffs or AI here today. We're not. But we're going to talk about some key market indicators. We're also going to do some LinkedIn reviews. We reached out to our community and our clients, and we have 3 LinkedIn profiles, depending on how much time we have, that we're going to review and give feedback here. And so that's going to be exciting. But before that, Reno, how was the magic show? Do you remember this? They did the signed dollar bill?
Wait, you were the one who gave the dollar
Yes.
and he guessed the serial number and everything.
This guy did.
You are, so just hang out.
Yes.
Okay.
No, listen. Adam, when I was in Chicago, my wife and I went to a magic show, and it was awesome.
Okay.
And I had told Reno that he needs to go to it. And I didn't want to like ruin it for him. But yes, like I just want to know how it went.
It was incredible. It was so good. And I actually thought the guy in the audience who gave the dollar bill was a plant. And so, because he immediately gave the dollar, he was like, "Oh, I got a dollar for you." I was like, "This dude, he was a plant." I can't believe you were the one who gave the dollar. I bet everyone's mind was blown. Adam, this show was so good that
It's so
if you
good.
guys come to Chicago, I would do it. It would be fun as a group because everybody gets involved in it.
Mm.
So that there's no dispute that you're doubting this guy. He's a magician, but he's also a mentalist, like Oz the
Okay.
mentalist kind of thing. So good. And it's a very intimate show, so that he only does 30 to 50 people.
I love intimate shows, of course.
And he involves every table. So you're part of the show, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, I don't want to give it away either, but it's hard to explain. There's just no way to describe how he would know all these things.
Yeah. I don't want to ruin it. That's why
Okay.
when I told Reno about
Next
it.
time in Chicago.
Yeah. Guys, listen. This guy, a 3rd generation magician, loves
If-
the
if-
craft.
If you're
I know,
if you're in Chicago now and listening, or you ever come to Chicago, top 5 things to do here is definitely this. It's called the Magic Parlor.
Yes, I am
And the-
going to share my screen because
Guys,
share the
this
screen.
is our first live
Yeah.
community event. This is
Yeah,
what we do.
yeah.
We just
Yeah,
invite
yeah.
all the coaches that listen to this podcast, come to Chicago. We'll
Yep.
do whatever the fudge this thing is.
This is it.
This is it,
The
guys.
website also doesn't do it justice, but if you go to TripAdvisor, it is the only experience I've ever seen on TripAdvisor that has almost 3,000 reviews and it has a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
how good
it's
it
legit.
is.
This is thing is, I went in there and I booked it like 30 minutes before the show started. And
Zero
when I tell
expectation.
you, I was as sketched out. I didn't even do no research. I was blown away. I remember, like, I think I texted you, Reno. I was like, "Hey, man,
Daniel's sketched out, but he's still the guy handing over the dollar.
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah.
dollar. If it was
Take my
$100,
money.
I would have thought it differently." Look, I thought that the trick was so fake that after Jess and I were walking back to the hotel, I was like, Jess, give me another $1. I ripped it just because like part of it is like I don't want to ruin it, but crazy.
You're really, yeah, dude. The part where he guessed the objects, because I came up on the stage and I was the person who blindfolded him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did that part, and then he guesses the things. The accuracy of that was crazy.
So,
but anyways, yeah, I'm
Dennis-
glad you recommended it. It was fun. We don't have to talk
Dennis
about it.
Walkman. Yeah. Dennis Walkman. The guy is the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Anyways. So I think we start with LinkedIn review, but
Why not
before
metrics?
that, Adam, how was your last month? You were in Orlando. You did a triathlon. You went to St. Augustine. You went to Jekyll Island, which is where the Federal Reserve was started. I don't know if you ever read the book, the creature from Jekyll Island, but yeah.
No, it was good. I'm a Florida fan. I didn't realize it, but I love Florida. I will be in Florida 2 more times within the next couple of weeks. So
Where
knows?
in Florida now?
I mean Orlando, and then I'll be down there one more time. I think in Tampa. So yeah, I'm getting used to that the Georgia Florida drive, but no, it's been good, man. Kids are out of school, getting some weekend trips in, and just trying to relax a little bit as best we can.
Nice. Adam, the Florida man.
You're a Florida
I don't
man
know if I'm
now?
a Florida man yet. I'm working my way there.
You just said you're a Florida man, so
Yeah. We're gonna
Maybe.
clip that. Let's clip that, guys. I want to mark it as a clip. Adam is a Florida man.
yes.
Okay, so we're gonna actually do this backwards. We're gonna start with LinkedIn reviews, and then we can go into some current events that we're seeing here.
Okay.
So
Where are we pulling these profiles from? Are these people that submitted prior to, or
Yes,
did we
yes,
just spin a
yes,
wheel?
yes.
How did we get these people?
No. Yeah, we asked the school community, and then we asked Opni clients who they want, and so we have 3
People have
LinkedIn.
spoken.
The people have spoken. Yep. So first we have Michael.
Okay.
So Michael DeLeo, engineer, helping engineering students land roles in 90 days. He's founder of Form a Win. Banner, he has him speaking at
He's got
university.
the slider option on.
The slider options. What do you guys think? First impressions. What would you rank? Banner, profile picture, headline. As you guys are saying this, for the people who are getting their LinkedIn review, we're not criticizing you. We're criticizing your LinkedIn. So don't take anything personal.
That's a good shout out.
Nothing against you, Michael. By the way, Michael, as you guys are doing this, Michael is a client of Opni, and we both went to UCF. He now lives in Arizona, and he came in he was driving to a conference in Tampa, and I actually grabbed coffee with them last Friday afternoon. So shout out to Michael. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice, Michael. Yeah, I mean,
All
I
right.
think this. Oh, go ahead, Adam.
No,
Something.
you started first. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I would. I like the banner. So I think first thing there, the first slide I think has some good credibility in terms of companies that presumably you've helped people land roles at. That to me is the assumption. If that's the case, I might make it more clear.
Yep.
But yeah, I think those are fantastic logos on there. You have looks like a presentation and maybe some kind of conference that you had with some collateral. So I think there's some credibility that comes from that as well. The one thing that stands out to me is engineering students. Is it just any engineering students? Is it people on visas? Are you helping? Is there what segment of engineering? Because it could be pretty broad. So I'm not sure, Michael, if you're trying to niche down, because engineering student can be, to me, means a lot of different things. Is it computer engineering, right? Like, is it, a lot of the different areas of that. So that's just initial standout to me. And then as I look at your banner or your headline. So same thing there. You have the same tagline that founder at Form a Win. Would be interesting to see some additional authority or credibility come out through that. Could be how many people you've maybe helped get jobs, because I assume you have a decent amount of testimonials or number of clients you've helped if you have those logos up there. That could be something interesting in there. I do something similar to mine where I talk about the number of people that I've helped land jobs. And then you could get a little bit more specific. But I think overall it's a good, so I think it's good.
How would you rate it? How would you rate it? Give it a score. Don't give it a 7. No 7s allowed. 7s are
You can
cop.
score it, Adam.
You're gonna give all that feedback. You're gonna get
Man,
Adam
you
just
got
get
you
the
got you
score?
gotta give a number. Reno's a 10, Daniel's like a 3. So somewhere in there, where do you put Michael?
Honestly, after you just gave me a 3, Adam, my account is gonna be the 4th one we review.
Yeah.
Dude, we
Alright.
only have an hour.
Reno's
Come on,
just
let's-
declining to. Okay, here's my quick take. I agree with a lot of what Reno said. I think the banner, in my opinion, is too busy. Like some of
Yeah.
those pictures, I can't tell what the heck is going on. Right, the little tiny bubble on the top left, I don't know what that is, and I wouldn't put something that's that zoomed out. I would just fill that with something else. Like have a picture of your face, right, or have a picture of something else aside from some of those small bubble shots. I think you've got a lot of companies listed in there. I might just pick a couple as opposed to trying to cram that many in, and pick some of the big higher profile ones that are going to be more notable. I don't know if that many firms is helpful. The other thing that I noticed is when I look at the companies that you've put people at least in your banner image, I get the vibe of like, this feels aerospace and manufacturing. And I think Reno kind of hit on this. Like, if that's your niche, double down, because most of the times when we hear engineering, I think my brain defaults to technical, right? I think software. It does not appear that your profile is set up for that, right? If you're helping aerospace folks or manufacturing or fabrication or systems or whatever your niche is, I would encourage you, like, double down on that. You know, you've got 7,000 followers, which isn't nothing. That's a great start. But I would say at that clock rate, niching is probably going to help you. So, you know, you saying systems engineer or aerospace engineer, helping, you know, aerospace engineering students, like I think that will only help the right people to find you. It will help your content resonate better with an ICP. Similar to what Reno said.
Yeah.
But that's my reaction. I would give this profile a 7 out of 10.
I would probably give the same.
No
Also,
7s. No 7s.
All right,
7s
well,
are a
6
cop out.
6.5 then.
My God.
Actually, as Adam was saying aerospace engineering, as I looked down through the rest of his profile, you worked at some of the biggest names in aerospace engineering,
Yeah,
and that's
go for
not
that.
clear to me immediately. Northrop Grumman, Lockheed
And
Martin.
Lockheed
you should
Martin.
be
And
putting
he's put people at NASA and SpaceX. I mean, like,
SpaceX.
that's your niche, man. I
Yeah.
would just
So-
bet on that.
Those are the logos. I'd put that in your headline too, that you work at Northrop Grumman and Lockheed.
Well,
like, you got to have that in there. Just
You
right up
probably
front.
like the problem with putting where he works now goes into the issues that like are you using that to help get clients? Like he can for sure put X Lockheed.
Yeah, that one's
Say
still great.
Fortune
I mean,
500 systems engineer helping engineering students.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of ways you could do it without using Northrop Grumman's
Yeah.
nil.
you
Yeah,
still use
yeah,
former Lockheed. You were there for 5 years. I would
Yeah.
definitely put that in there.
yeah. So I actually think his profile it's probably a 6 with a couple of tweaks to make it into like an 8 or a 9 or even an 8 to make it. I agree. Like I think the banner it's too busy. I think it's
Agreed.
too busy trying to get too much into it. And I actually think like all these companies, like I think you can make it in a design wise easier to read, but I also think that the niche, and it's funny because I know a little bit more of Michael because he's our client and we've worked together. And I've been really involved in his process, that his original niche and the one we talked about when we built the offer for him was helping aerospace and defense companies. Right. And so for that particular reason, you couldn't really work with international students because they won't get the clearance required there. They need to be a citizen. But it still is a really good niche, and he has the proof to say I can do it because he's spoken at a lot of university events, so you can see that there, which is great. But what I would actually give a shout out is that even though there's opportunity on his LinkedIn, I kind of want to shout out Michael. Like I was mentioning, I met him in give me a second, I'll show you guys. I met him in Orlando, and a cool shout out. Thanks, Michael, for volunteering, but also he said I could share this. He did $12,000 in his first month.
With Opni?
Yeah, with Opni. Yeah. So he did $1,000
That's
before,
incredible.
and then $12,000. 8 clients in the first. They're there. And part of it, like what I was saying is like, he is the niche, right? Like as soon as he started talking to the niche and not just saying, hey, I'm a generalist of a career coach, like it just made a lot of sense. So
Congrats, Michael. That's awesome.
Michael, man.
The riches are in the refined ICP avatars. That's a thing I say all the time, you know?
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Adam's got it. Just rolls off the tongue.
All right, let's move on. Adam, you go on this one.
Okay, I'm just kind of looking at the top quarter of this page, right? Like first impressions.
Yeah, I'll go down. You can tell me what to do.
One-on-one coaching for mid-career SaaS sales professionals. I mean, I like how it's straight to the point. It's a little hard to read on my screen. Personalized strategy for interview. If you could, pequeño, por favor. Yeah, I mean, some of my initial reactions is the banner is difficult to read because of the font and the color choices. I would encourage you to rethink that. Like, it's hard for me to kind of drill in on a phone and see that says clarity, strategy, results. Strategy today, success tomorrow. I would give you the encouragement, kind of like we saw with Michael. If you've got testimonials or if you've got placements or if you've helped people and there's evidence that we can load into the banner, I would encourage that. Because I think that information is going to carry more weight than just words like clarity, strategy, results. You have 3 taglines all right on top of each other. Personalized strategy for interview positioning and best offers, clarity, strategy, results, and then strategy today, success tomorrow. It's too many taglines. So I would say pick maybe one and then fill the space with other social proof indicators. I don't resonate so much with the button that says send me a DM. That might need to be more specific, right? Why would they send you a DM? What is it? What is the specific call to action that you want to happen? I might rethink that. I would encourage you to rethink rewriting the headline. I like that you're saying former HR specialist and sourcing lead. Like there's a ton of credibility in that statement. I might put your helping or your transformation statement first, just so that kind of pops off the page. Because the HR specialist is former, right? If you were currently in that role, I might read that, right? I might mix that order up, but because that's not the current role you're in, I would lead with what you're currently doing. I'll pause there to let others jump in.
Adam, how would you rate it before I jump in?
Off the cuff, I'm going to give this a 4.5 or 5. I would say this kind of strikes me as the average career coach's top half.
Yeah. I would probably give it something similar. My biggest reason, I mean, I think Adam did a great job spacing. I just think that your banner could probably be a little bit more outcome driven than coaching. I see a lot of coaching, one-on-one coaching. I also think that a lot of people in the industry, their mind doesn't immediately go to coaching, that's the thing that they need. They're going to be more attracted to the outcome. So is it land a SaaS sales role at X companies, and maybe you have some logos on there? That to me is more compelling versus focusing on the actual process, because that's really what this is. It's a process banner of what you do. I don't think that would be as compelling. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for me. I would probably also look at your, and this is hard to quantify, but I think just the design aesthetic probably could use some updating. If you are helping people get into modern SaaS companies, I don't get that vibe from this This banner, to me, it speaks more like kind of traditional, a little bit more old school. And your profile photo, I'd probably change the background as well.
I
don't
think
know.
I think a professionally done headshot and banner image would go a long way with the first impression that someone gets when they visit this.
For sure. And I'm not sure where this photo is from, Halim, but I think definitely an updated headshot. But I would also put yourself in the attire of typically what sales professionals would wear to a company. I think you're wearing a black suit with a black tie. That also isn't really common for what people would typically wear in that work environment. So I think if you knock those two things out, you'll be a lot more relatable to a lot of these SaaS sales professionals that are interested in what you can do. So there you go. Banner, and a little image consulting as well.
I think one of the things that I'm noticing that Halim and Michael can easily also change is that they can make it their profile into a creator mode, and that allows them to have a link here. So if I were to go to Reno, don't make me look bad. You have that book an appointment link here, and that's set up to having a creator mode.
Don't they
Halim
have
has that
It
too.
has that. They both had that.
They do? Am I like going crazy? Wow, never mind. I
Yeah,
am.
you are. You are.
Yeah.
We just let it slide most of the time, but this time it's kind of out there, you know?
yeah.
This time we're
What?
already giving Halim a
can't
lot of constructive
undo it.
feedback.
Yeah,
No.
you gotta do that.
Okay.
Like, you cannot rewind that. Okay, well, I'll take it back. But I was gonna say another thing on it. I just recorded a YouTube video on the SPCA framework, and I think a lot of what we're talking about is it ultimately comes down to like, how do you convert strangers into clients? And it's all about proof over promises. And so there's social proof, personal background, case studies, which is testimonials, and authority. And so anytime you can incorporate one of these four things, if not multiple of those things into your profile, the easier it's going to be for you to convert strangers into clients, because people are skeptic, right? It's ultimately how do you turn skeptics into to buy your stuff. So yeah. All right.
I like it.
Next.
I think Daniel goes first on this one.
Daniel's like, nice try, guys.
Hey, your comment from the last person applies here, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. You want to
That's
chime
what I
in,
was-
Daniel?
You know what? I was planning ahead, and so the first thing I would do, Joe, it's become a creator mode, and then allows you to have a book a call here. Well, actually, it would make a lot of sense, but I actually like the banner. I like her picture, even though it's probably AI. It doesn't really bother me. I still think the picture makes her look very professional. If I was going to nitpick, her picture was maybe a little bit more zoomed in to her face. So like maybe even crop a little bit, like focus more on her face, but still I think is a great picture, because I think that picture looks great there. But I will, when you're looking at, when it looks in the message, or when you look at anywhere else, you can't see her face. It gets lost into everything. So I would have a more focus on her face there. I do like the banner, empowering nonprofit leaders to serve, to strengthen team systems and operations. I like the branding more than everything, but I would love to see a little bit more proof. So, okay, she's doing that, but how do I know it works? Maybe put in some of the logos of the nonprofits that she's worked with, right? Or like, I think that would be very helpful. Nonprofit leadership strategist, stabilizing programs and strengthening leadership in the first 9 days, interim executive operations and grant strategy. Yeah, I think, again, the problem that I have with Joanna, if you're looking at this feedback, is everything you're saying, there is no proof that you've done it. At least when I just glance at it. I mean, somebody can create a LinkedIn profile and just say the same thing. And so it's all about, how do we show through one of these mechanisms, right, of either social proof, because personal background proof, like ex-CEO at this nonprofit, or I've raised $5 million for nonprofits. Like, you talk about, I say that because as someone who's in a board, I'm a board member of a nonprofit, right? I understand how important grants are, and I understand they're hard to get. But if you say, I've raised $3 million in grants, $2 million in grants, $500,000 in grants, any amount is better than nothing there, right? So I think those are things that I would do. I would give this profile like a 5 out of 10, knowing that if she just adds social proof, it would really go up because the branding is there. Like the branding, the colors, the logo, all of that is there. Let me keep going down.
Yeah.
By the way, Joanne, message me because I would be interested in speaking to you about the nonprofit I serve.
Okay.
There we go.
See? What budget, company, and the performance of the system support as well. That's where the breakdown happens. See, like with 20 years of the nonprofit leadership from direct services to executive director, like I would put 20 years of experience here in the nonprofit industry. Like those are things that I would highlight.
Yeah. Former executive director.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good proof in here.
Yeah. Like,
Can you go back to the binner?
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of saying, yeah, I would probably take out the coaching strategy development piece because it's inferred, or even infer it more directly in the yellow line above, and then make your proof those 3 little boxes. That's probably how I'd set it up. The other thing I noticed on the About Me section is you've got a lot of what I would say Claude generating evidence. I might kill some of those M dashes off just so that it doesn't look like it's 100% generated by Claude, because you still might lose a couple people from that. I get feedback on that from time to time. I do like it though. I like the 90-day leadership breakthrough. That's good.
I'd even bring that up in the banner. Say something about what you can deliver in 90 days. Again, I gave this feedback on the last one. If you could shift it to something a little bit more outcome focused, because even though this is a great about section, you can't assume that people are just going to go and dig through all of that to find the outcome, to find the social proof. So how can you bring that more into your headline and your banner?
I would also say, like, as I continue to dive in here, right? Having client testimonials is great, but we have to make sure that the link works, because now I'm more sketched out on whether this works or not because it doesn't work. There's right. Let's see the second link. Every time I open it,
Looks like it's just a snap.
but it could be a link. And if it is a Snapchat, I can only read this one and I can't even read more. It makes me want to read more, but then I can't even read it when I click it. It's weird. I don't know if it's just my computer.
Yeah, the pixel level of those snapshots might need to be worked on a little bit. They look pretty fuzzy even on my end. Like I can't read them when I click on them either. They don't go anywhere, but I also can't read them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to have that dialed in.
But follower count, hey, 5,000 is a decent number. Like that's good. Yeah. And then I guess we weren't going into content, but yeah. Like, I would just say it seems like you're resharing a lot, and like that's not like, but I would want you to have more original content. But yeah. So I would rate this a 5 out of 10. Any other thoughts before we move on to the last profile?
Well, that was 3. Are you the last profile?
Yeah, you want to do mine?
No.
Would that-
Go ahead.
would
Go
that
ahead.
give-
If you got another one, go for it.
Would you guys find pleasure in doing mine? Because if not, we can do Omar.
No, I think you got a good job. Let's do Omar. Come on,
Let's do
Daniel. This
Omar.
isn't about you
Yeah.
today.
All right, Reno, back on you.
All right. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. I mean, the first thing that stands out to me is this is a visually disruptive banner. There's a lot of different areas that you're trying to take people's eyes. And so that's the first thing is there is a flow, I think, to having a good banner where I would maybe take people through a progression of what you want them to read first and then second and then third. Because it seems like you're trying to use all the parts of the banner, but I think that takes me to a lot of different directions. So that's just from a visual aesthetic, as a designer would tell me.
I like the headshot though.
Headshot's good. Yeah.
Headshot I like.
You got some interesting color in the background too. So it's recognizable. It stands out. Most people just usually have a plain neutral gray background, but as we've said about before, when people are scrolling LinkedIn or they can't see the full blown up headshot, they're going to see that pop of color come up in their feed. You look very confident in there too. So I think that's, good thing. Let's see. Give me a second to read this. Stuck in the wrong here. My career pivot takes years. I think one of the biggest issues here is in the banner, it's too general. There's nothing being called out in terms of who you help specifically. It just says stuck in the wrong career. And are you ready to pivot into the right one? And then previously, what we've given advice on as well, what kind of social proof are you sharing? Social proof credibility. I'm not seeing that either. Have you worked anywhere? I think you said X-Monarch, Deloitte. You've probably got, I haven't seen the rest of your profile, but if you have any of those logos of companies you worked at, that's great. If you've had clients at certain companies that you've helped at make a pivot, that's great to slap that on there. If they've landed jobs elsewhere, those are great logos and mentions to have on there. So even though you are somewhat giving people a outcome in terms of from and to, it doesn't seem specific enough to me. So I'm going to be aligned, compensated, and then living with purpose. I think you can do a little bit more there in terms of that social proof. So that's my thoughts on the banner. I think the colors are good to me. It sort of matches your headshot, and the red gives it enough pop where it could stand out. Let's go to the headline. So headline, I help consultants, mid-career professionals pivot to dream careers, even in a tough market. Career strategist and pivot coach. So, okay. So this one here, I like that you lead with, I help so-and-so do this. I think that's great. It may be a typo, or maybe this was your intention. It says, I help consultants and mid-career professionals. Do you help mid-career consultants, or are you doing consultants and then it's like, hey, I can help anybody, which I'm not sure, because again, your banner is also very broad. So I'm not trying, are you trying to be more general or very specific? So that's the first thing, is understanding what your niche is and then trying to own that a little bit more.
I was trying to look at how much of a consulting background he has.
He has Monitor Deloitte on there, and I got to be honest, I don't know what Monitor Deloitte is.
I don't either, but is that big in Dubai?
Maybe.
I am assuming it is.
The Monitor Group? Okay.
Okay. How many people are there? Can you click on that?
133,000 followers, 5 to 10K employees.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I might just put Deloitte, but I guess if Monitor Deloitte carries weight in wherever you are, then so be it.
It's like, I think about it from like Merrill Lynch, and then Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, right? Like it's like Merrill Lynch used to carry a lot of weight, and like maybe you still keep Merrill Lynch because Bank of America just seems like a traditional retail bank. So like, does this help you, to your point? Like, is it a more of a respected, like, is this like the Navy SEALs of Deloitte in Dubai? I don't know. Like maybe they got acquired by Deloitte, which sort of seems like it, but that's a good question. That's a good point. But I would use the bigger brand.
Yeah, I mean, you're already on the right path because you put that experience in there, so you know people would associate with that. But I think that's well said, right? If it's not, doesn't really matter, and no one knows who that is, I would just use Deloitte, because no one's really gonna be like, oh my god, Monitor Deloitte, but you said Deloitte. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, is the niching part. I don't know if you're trying to just help consultants or mid-career professionals, because again, your banner's kind of general too, so it kind of throws me off.
I think Omar is not a client of ours, but if he were, what I would tell Omar, I do think people exiting consulting is such a great niche, because people are not consultants for a long time. Within the first 10 years, 90%, more than 90% leave, because they either become partners and they go to the partner route, or they end up going and pivoting to somewhere else. And so I think they're high earners. They're like consultants make good money. A lot of times they get burnt out, and then they get to, I see that trend where the consultants get burnt out because when they get out of college, they're willing to work to 60, 80 hours. They're willing to leave on Sunday and come back on Thursday. They're willing to do that. But once they start settling down, getting married and having kids, they're not willing to do that. Not a lot of them are. And so they end up wanting to pivot out of consulting. And so because of that, these people are used to, like, they're willing to pay for consulting work because that's what they sold and that's what they worked on, right? And so to me, I actually, my only concern is that a big enough market to just focus on Dubai? But you went to school in America. So I don't really, I think you can sell this in America. So yeah,
something to consider.
Yeah.
But
it might
yeah,
not be a big enough market just for Dubai alone. But Omar, I think that niche is really, really good. Yeah, I doubled down on that. I had spoken to one of our current clients, or like we had a client at Opni, and I was telling him that should be his niche, but yeah, he didn't choose it. So it's there.
Yeah. So my biggest feedback, in addition to maybe figuring out the niche, is having more social proof in your banner and headline. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah.
I think everything you said, I agree with. The banner is the thing that throws me first because there's text on the banner that is so small I cannot read it, which again kind of begs the question of why is it there? Simplify it, get a clear, transformation message. Think about some outcome-driven social proof and what that looks like for you. But I agree.
I feel like he's already made, like, I've been speaking to a few consultants this week, and so yeah. Anyways, let's move on. Thanks for the review, guys. We'll stop sharing. Let's move on. So, any thoughts on the market in the last month since we've spoken? I actually want to say that there's a couple of articles that I wanted to bring up for this topic because, as you know, but maybe not everyone listening to knows, when I was career coaching with college students, and in the last year or so, there's been a lot of fear of like not many companies hiring in level entry roles. But it's really cool to see that NACE, which is like the largest organization that tracks like college grads graduating, an increase of 5.6% increase in new college grads hiring in the class of 2026. So I know and you have IBM planning to hire 3 times more level entry hiring in 2026. So all these articles and data showing that college students, which we thought was like, oh, they went to college for no reason, it's now coming to say the companies are hiring more level entry than before.
Yeah.
Is the question like, how do we react to that?
Yeah. How do you react to that, Mr. Broda?
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it just depends on the size of the company and what industry the company's in and what their problems are. But like, I've worked at a lot of very big companies, and what I can tell you is hiring is it's a part of the LRBP. It's a part of the long range business plan. It is a strategy. It's not like you just wake up and say, I'm going to hire today when you work at the Boeing company, right? There's a lot of things that have to happen to get requisitions out. And why those kind of protocols are in place is because, yeah, the companies don't want to overhire, so they don't have to fire. So they, do companies always get that right? Well, no, apparently not, right? Because of what we've seen over the past couple of years. There's COVID, was maybe the best evidence of that we've seen in the period of time that I've been alive, that no, companies do not always get it right and the strategies don't always make sense. But yeah, for AI to show up, I know you said we weren't going to talk about AI. So for artificial intelligence to show up and start making an impact in a noticeable way, I think the last couple months, the last couple years, potentially even, like we've seen early careers be impacted by that. There's no denying that. There's some really great research that we've talked about, right? The Canaries in the Coal Mine study from Stanford, like it's confirmed, right? There has been an impact on early career hiring in some industries. But does that mean that the sky is falling and that early careers are dead and that you shouldn't go to college? No. I mean, like, for those statements to be made, I think that's just headlines, right? Like, those are just companies trying to get you to click. For a company to redirect, a 3 to 5 year hiring strategy, which is what a lot of those LRBPs are built around, a year's worth of information is probably not going to totally course correct that ship. So we talked about this, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I think companies in 2024 were trying to rapidly guesstimate how to get ahead of AI and get on board with AI and what to do with AI. And there was a lot of bad bets that were made into 2025. We read articles. We talked about that research. I think in 2025 and 2026, there's hiring teams got a lot smarter and investing teams got smarter and companies got smarter about what they're doing with it and what's achievable versus what's not. And I think that moving into 2027 and 2028, like I would fully expect new higher percentages to come back, right? Clearly there was an impact, but companies can't survive without new hires. You can't, somebody's got to train the people to do the work. Because if you don't do that, then the mid-tier and the senior tier just gets more and more competitive until you can't get what you want, because those people will exit the workforce at some point. So someone's got to have a program to build the talent, and I don't think it's going to be entirely up to the universities to do that. Some of it might be. So I'm not surprised by this. I still don't know how much stock I put in the headlines, because I still have the opinion that there is so much changing so fast.
Yeah.
That I don't, I'm not the person that's going to sit down and say like 2027 is going to be the greatest, entry level hiring year. That I don't believe that. I think give it another 3 months and we're going to be back in a boat of where things have changed and companies have adjusted the strategy. But I don't think the sky is falling for new hires. I think there was absolutely a down period, but I think the market will course correct and we'll see an up period.
Yeah, I have a similar sentiment to that, but I think the big takeaway from what Adam was saying is just you have to take all the headlines with a grain of salt because we're in an environment where things are moving so fast. And I'm just thinking back to the argument around AI. I know this is not an AI podcast, but
say artificial intelligence. It doesn't
artificial
count.
intelligence.
Yeah.
But everyone was saying, oh, wow, AI is just going to gobble everything up. And now we're seeing reports of companies going, oh, wow, the cost of compute is way more than I thought. We are resource constrained way more than I thought when it comes to building out these workflows. And we need people to manage these things. And so I think there's this realization that things have now caught up, and it's not, to Adam's point, sky is falling. And then you even see CEOs of OpenAI and Anthropic saying, well, yeah, I was saying that there was going to be massive displacement. I still think there will be, but now they're walking back those claims a little bit. And even I think all the rage was, what was it, 2 years ago, Adam, where in companies, people were saying, oh, you have to be this prompt engineer. Prompt engineering is going to be this big category. And that's not even a thing anymore. I don't even know if that's like completely gone away with. And so it just shows you how much of a moving target this industry and just this new environment is. But I do think that's the through line is there's so much uncertainty that no one can confidently come here and tell you what's going to happen in the next year or two. No one can predict, hey, this is exactly how it's going to happen. And I do think that that's just the reality now is we are living in this period of uncertainty. Things change fast. You need to, I think it's great for the coaching industry, that unpredictability, because working with somebody who can help you navigate that unpredictability, I think is going to go up, and there's more need for it. So yeah, and I think that's just the biggest takeaway is don't take any of the headlines you see with a grain of salt. Layoffs, why are they doing it? This is going to be the next big thing. You can't read into that too much, because like Adam said, in three months, we're going to be having a different conversation. Things are going to shift again. So
yeah, I saw a post from a guy named Mike Brandt a couple weeks ago about how rapidly the desired titles and job descriptions on the technical side of AI are changing. And he mentioned that there's a title called a forward deployed engineer, an FDE, and that title has just exploded in the last couple of months, to the point where OpenAI bought a company called Tomorrow, Tomoro. I think it was about 150, employees that were there, but they bought them predominantly because they had these FDEs, right? They acquired the company for the talent pool because they had this unique blend of engineers that had been working in a certain capacity. So yeah, like Reno, I think that's a great point you make, right? 2 years ago or however many months ago, it was prompt engineers, and you saw the headlines like, LinkedIn is paying $400,000 for a prompt engineer, and you can learn how to be one in 3 weeks. That was
the rage, yeah, I remember.
Right? And that's not a thing anymore, right? Everybody can be a prompt engineer. So
we're all supposed to be living in the metaverse by now, remember?
That's
right? Like you can't look at you have to look at everything with a grain of salt.
Are you guys familiar with Y Combinator?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So this is not in one of the
Do you want to explain what it is, though, for the people that may not be familiar?
I don't even know how to explain it well, except like this is like the number one like incubator in Silicon Valley, and a lot of like the biggest startups have come from that.
It's pretty close.
Was well said.
Aside from, and so to me, I think that I actually, if I The guy who from OpenAI, he came from that. He used to run Y Combinator.
Altman,
Sam
yeah, he was
Altman.
involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember last year that the partners from Co-Career, they loved Y Combinator, and they had sent like once a year they request, or like every semester they request for startups, and they essentially say,
Yeah.
hey, if you have a startup for this, we want you to apply to be in our combinator. But a lot of people in the like startup world see that as signals of the industries of the future, because it's saying, okay, Y Combinator sees an opportunity in these startups, and therefore they're going to invest in those startups, which then they're going to get a bunch of VC capital, and then they're going to be the next industries that come forward. So I saw it like a reel of the type of companies that they want to apply for the role. And the reason why I think is relevant to share together on this is because to me, that's where the jobs are coming. Like 6 months to a year, these are the type of industries that they're going to be creating jobs. So I wanted to review that with you guys, and then kind of get your thoughts as we kind of review the industries that they're talking about. And I know I'm sharing my screen, but we'll say
Just
it out loud.
FYI, when I was in product at Amazon, we would like religiously look at these reports, right? Trying to understand where VC dollars are going within the startup environment was a big part of how we would evaluate. Like, what do we need to build? What do we need to make? What kind of problems are, our VC capital firms interested in solving with new products or new services? So, yeah, I'd say this to my clients all the time. Like, if you're trying to understand where hiring trends are going, pay attention to VC firms. Pay attention to places like Y Combinator. Read those newsletters, because it will tell you a lot about where companies are willing to shell out big money to solve problems. And where big money goes, usually talent goes with it.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I'm saying this. It's not because I think I'm going to apply for any of the to be in Y Combinator. I think about it more because this is where the jobs are created. So
I applied. They
AI
rejected me a while back, but I did interview with the partners. We got that far. Yeah, this was for Wiseful. We had a creator recruiting platform. I don't know if I told you guys this. It's one of the earliest iterations. Was basically leveraging creators and influencers to find talent. But anyways, I digress.
So what were you, so AI for low pesticide agriculture. Okay, I don't know what kind of jobs will come out of that. Any thoughts?
Really curious to see how you get AI in there. But then again, right? If Allbirds can be an AI company, anyone can be an AI company.
You got some stock in Allbirds?
What's Allbirds? Is that
I'm wearing Allbirds right now.
You don't know what Allbirds is, Daniel?
No, dude. No.
Well, I guess you're in Florida, so it was
Florida
probably,
people don't do Allbirds. No,
that's true. Yeah,
they don't do Allbirds.
It used to be the
Can't wear those
Bay
to the
Area
club.
darling company. It was You've seen these shoes, Adam. Can you maybe take your shoe off and show Adam?
Yeah.
It's
just imagine like a 35 to 45-year-old dad who probably works in tech.
Let's see it.
Right there?
Yeah, you've seen
Okay,
them.
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody had
And wait,
those.
is that the company that like literally just put AI in the end, and it was an apparel company, and then the valuation skyrocketed?
Yeah, total. But every VC, every partner, everyone in the Bay Area, everyone working at a tech company and beyond started wearing those shoes.
Oh, they were so hot.
They were on top of the world.
They were on top of the world, boy. Yep. Good times.
All right. AI native discovery engines.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty sensible. I don't think the first one is. It's hard for me to piece that one together, but this one makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
AI native service companies. So I watched this video.
Things. That's
but the idea is this: it's like they're looking for companies to not be the SaaS company, but to do the jobs, like do the accounting, do the
accountants
consulting.
are on the decline, right? And I know, I mean, there's a couple jobs that like America needs more people doing, and accountants are on the top of that list for a hot minute. So I think this makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, this is more of an area that I think if you're an entrepreneur and trying to build something, a company in that space, you could have a lot of success, because the current argument is that companies that regular SaaS companies or regular service companies that are just putting a SaaS layer on top are actually going to be the companies left behind. That you actually need to build it from the ground up to be more successful versus just, hey, we've been around for 20 years. Let's just put this AI layer. And I think that's where that ask from Y Combinator is coming from based on those trends they're seeing.
Yeah.
Maybe not trends, but maybe
It's
their
AI
predictions.
as the foundation, not AI as the mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. AI personal medicine. Pulled that. Company brain.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this one a few times.
Yeah, the G brain. Read an article.
Counter
about that.
swarm defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Anduril.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they have the patents on that already. I don't know what
Is
we're
this
even
like
talking
if a
about.
missile starts to come towards a data center, it just shoots out some chaff?
Drone
this
swarms.
is when a bunch
Drone
of
swarms.
drones. Yeah,
Drone
a bunch
swarm.
of drones come at you. Yeah.
Chaff drones. Just, take the missile for it.
Dynamic software interfaces.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Electronics in space. They
Yeah.
did the got guy dirty with that profile pic.
Data centers in space now?
Hardware supply chain.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. Go ahead.
In industrial capacities in space. To me, like when I look at all this, a lot of it, like the biggest themes is obviously a lot of AI and things that are going to challenge that. But a lot of it too also is manufacturing. It's like a lot of that building those manufacturings in the United States kind of comes software for agents and then startups. But once
We've been
you
hearing
sell
that a
to
lot,
these
yeah.
companies, yeah.
I'm surprised there's not more energy on here, honestly. There's a lot of supply chain stuff because of how
It
much.
could be. Oh, that's it?
That's it. It's like
Yeah.
only
I
15.
am very surprised by that, actually.
Really? Like, do you think it's because they already did that investment last time? Like, if I go back and I look at Spring,
Well, to me, that's an infinite need. So I don't know how you can only have as a one-time batch request. But
Agreed.
it could be because there's, maybe they did it last
It's the
batch, or-
bottleneck. It's the bottleneck of the next 15 to 20 years. There's no way around it.
Or is there too much? I'm wondering if they think, is there too much of a bottleneck that is a business that's inevitably going to run into some red tape?
I mean, my opinion, I don't get me on this soapbox because I worked in nuclear for a long time, but like my opinion is that energy has been muddled with red tape for a while. Like the government controls energy more aggressively with more layers and more blocks and more barriers than virtually anything else, right? The DOE just kind of wreaks havoc on what that industry is and what it could be. And I think what's starting to happen is as companies and businesses and the government wake up to the fact that there's this giant, oncoming energy demand, and I would even call it a potential crisis, right? There's going to be an energy crisis. They're pulling some of those red tape layers back and they're saying, okay, what would it look like to let more firms do, nuclear reactors or wind or solar or whatever? I think those conversations have started, but I'm surprised that you don't see like a Y Combinator making that a part of their request.
Yeah, that is interesting because to your point, Adam, on the red tape, there are forces here at work that are preventing, I think, new players from popping up in that space.
Right.
And I was recently doing stock research just in terms of energy, and it's like, hey, that makes sense. That's a bottleneck. Why not invest in some up and coming players in the energy space that are doing interesting things? And it's funny, as you start to get deeper into the research, you see that a lot of these companies are just absolutely mired in lawsuits from bigger companies, energy companies, corporate, states, and the federal government. They're just tied up in these lawsuits, or there's patent infringement from a larger company that had a patent and they're just sitting on it. And so I think there's a lot of forces working against these upstarts in the energy space that could also be a factor. And I'm wondering how much of that is known by someone like Y Combinator that might say, hey,
good question.
You might be able to raise $10 or $15 million, but I don't know that this goes beyond.
And maybe that's why, right? It's because they know how many blockades and barriers you would run into. And my honest opinion is that it would be very difficult to scale in that environment right now because of how tightly controlled a lot of it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we'll continue the conversation next time. I'll see you guys in Orlando. But
Tune
thanks
in next
for today.
month.
Yeah.
When is
tune in,
Orlando?
the June 22nd or that week of the June 22nd.
You got your flights booked, Adam?
I do. Yeah.
I don't.
It's a test.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, you guys are
Test
awesome.
me.
See you guys. If you are listening to this and you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys.
See you guys. Take care.